All right. Thank you, Vanessa, for this amazing opportunity. Today, we are going to talk about cultivating healthy smiles, starting oral health from the start, which might seem a little scary, seeing little people in your office if you're not used to it. But I want you to think about a garden and how every flower in its full bloom started as a small bud. And now I want you to think about a child's smile. It's the same thing. Sometimes they need a little help. Sometimes they bloom beautifully, but they need some support. And it's the same thing with a garden. Gardens and mouths grow the same. We need to nurture them, we need to tend to them, and that shows where the development is going to come. So I started my journey as a dental hygienist. So I have my roots in structure, and then I moved on to become a myofunctional therapist, which gave me the function piece. Lastly, I got into lactation. So I love to help teams become helper bees to help that garden grow. So I'm gonna go over a quick chair-side model for you to see little ones. It's spot, share, and shape. But first I want to introduce you to one of my favorite patients. Her name is Fiona. And Fiona came to see me because she had issues, not only with her mouth that her mom noticed, but she was having a lot of struggles sleeping. So she had some mild snoring. She had allergies, she was a mouth breather, but mom's biggest complaint was that she was in her bedroom, in her bed, 1 to 2 times a night. Now, Fiona is 4 at this point. Who has kids here, right? If your kids aren't sleeping, you're not sleeping. So the whole house was not happy. So when we look at Fiona's mouth, what kind of things are you seeing happening in her mouth? Can you tell that she's got a big overbite? Can you tell that she has tipping? So I loved Lee's point to asking the why until you get down to the why. That's what we have to start thinking about with our patients. Why is this happening? What's going on? When we took her photos from a side view, that's when we really noticed what was going on. She had insufficient forward growth, so she was stuck. And that's what was contributory to her sleeping issues. So how did we tend to Fiona? We started her with myofunctional therapy. She got a CBCT scan. She had oral releases of her ties, and then we did expansion orthodontics. And this is just her through myofunctional therapy and her oral tie releases. So if you look at that first picture, how tight and tense she was, through the journey at the end here, how wide her smile was, how relaxed she looked. She's like a totally different person. And then we got Fiona into a lot of devices. She used a MyoMunchie, she got expanders, and here she's in ortho. So you can see she's starting to grow, and she's starting to be on her way to be able to stay in her own bed, breathe better, sleep better, live better. I got really close with Fiona's mom, and this was the tipping point for me to realize how we need to start seeing kids earlier. So she sent me pictures of Fiona when she was younger, and I was really curious to see how far back in Fiona's life we actually could see these problems happening. But in the dental field, we're not always trained to know what to look for, how to help, what to do, but the signs were there, even from when she was 1 to 2 to 3. So that's where the spot, share, and shape comes in. So spotting is really easy. Spotting is just having the ability to screen kids to know what to look for. Are we checking for tethered oral tissues? Are we looking to see if they're mouth breathing? These are the things that are going to literally shape how they grow. The next part is share, and this is why I love Dr. Andy's speech. Building this rapport with patients is so important because you have parents coming in whose kids are having a lot of problems, and it's stressing them out, and they don't know what to do. And they don't need Google, and they don't need ChatGPT. They need you to sit beside them and look them in the eye and help to educate them so they understand what's happening with their child and how you can help. And then shape. So shape is both literal and metaphorical, right? We can put things in kids' mouths to help their mouths grow, but we are also going to shape their entire future, because we know if kids grow up with small airways, we see tons of adult patients, right, who are dealing with sleep apnea, breathing problems, and that has all stemmed from childhood issues. So this is a very short list of things we can talk to parents about when they come in. Identifying if you have a 3-year-old walk in with a pacifier. What can we do? We can coach parents on how to help that oral habit. We can check and see when we're doing our examination, do they have enlarged tonsils? Refer out T&Ts, build those relationships with other healthcare providers. Snoring and gasping, which we should be looking at for our patients anyway. Issues with eating, we can build lots of great referrals with feeding therapists. Again, mouth breathing is going to change how these kids' faces grow. So being aware of these things and then having tools to help with narrow arches, crowded teeth to start early. So this is Fiona. This is my most recent picture. She's gorgeous. And we got her there, and she's healthy and thriving and resting and in her bed where she should be. But that has set her up for her entire life. So spot, share, and shape. If we give kids early the chance to bloom, we are giving them a whole garden of possibility. And not only that, the earlier we start, we are setting them up for their entire future. And I love this quote because I wholeheartedly believe in it. All 3 of my kids had these issues as well. So I believe that investing in our children's development from a very young age is the single most important contribution we can make. And seeing what we see in older kids and adults, all the issues that we're having, this rings very true. It's our responsibility to help these kids. So if you're intrigued, feel free to reach out. I have a whole magazine I put together to give you tips, tricks on things that you can incorporate into your practice right now to help these kids. So I hope to hear from everyone. Thank you.